Workshop. Here we go. So welcome guys to the workshop, a peek behind the curtain of the most profitable studio in Australia. I was really looking forward to having you all at my studio today. And I know you were looking forward to coming too. Unfortunately, we had the situation of COVID and we're not able to do that. So I do apologize on behalf of COVID for you not being here. Now, what we are going to get through in the second workshop is, I guess it's very hands-on. It shows you why my studio works so well, why it has worked for so long, why it is the most profitable studio in Australia. And I know that it's not just a statement. Sorry, I'm not just making that up. It is a statement. It's not a myth. I've been around Australia. I've seen the studios. All these studios I've encountered with do not turn over this revenue per square meter and do not profit this revenue per square meter. Sorry, do not profit the amount of money per square meter that this studio does. Okay, so I'm going to show you how that all works. I'm going to show you the equation, how you can work out how much you're making per square meter if you have a facility as well. This is not just a workshop for studio owners, by the way, or for facility owners. You can actually, I'm going to show you systems in this fitness business, why this works as well, okay, and how you can leverage and scale your business. I touched on it in the previous workshop, but it leads into more detail in this workshop here. Okay, so thanks for joining us and let's get started. Let's get cracking. So the objectives for today, what we're going to try and get across today, what I'm going to try and show you today is how to drill down into the daily, weekly, and monthly routines that make this possible, make the studio tick over and make it the most profitable studio in Australia. I'm going to show you, you're going to learn the exact systems that allow me to earn 5 times the average studio revenue. That's per square meter, okay, not in total. There are other studios, just to be clear, there are other studios making more money or turning over more revenue in Australia in their business, but per square meter, this is certainly the most profitable studio. You're going to receive the 7 steps to studio success blueprint. We're going to go through that today in the workshop, okay? And again, you will get a copy of this workshop. You will be able to watch this at a later date, so you can actually refer back to it. And lastly, you're going to learn how our studio keeps our client retention at 94% year after year. So the lowest, by the way, the lowest our retention over 17 years has ever got is 90%. 90% retention. The average studio, incidentally, fitness studio in Australia, client retention this is boutique studio, by the way, is approximately 84%. So that's the average. So anything above that is obviously above average, and anything, in my opinion, above 90% is excellent. The average gym, that's a big, franchise gym, big box gym. I'm not going to name any names, but the big conglomerate gyms, they're about 63% client retention. So they've got a lot of churn. So they rely more on sales and they spend a lot in their marketing than actually looking after their customers and the customer end, the back end. So anyway, we're going to talk a bit about that too and how that works. All right. So if we break it down, this studio that I own turns over $60,000 per month. All right. And that's why I call it the $60,000 per month studio success formula. If you're on the previous workshop, you saw the numbers that go through my studio and you understand how that works. I will touch on it again in this. I'm not going to double up, of course, but yeah, you will learn a little bit about where that 60,000 comes from. Now you can see a couple of pictures there of my lovely clients, and that they've been coming for years and years to the studio. And that's our outdoor section, by the way. We do also have an outdoor section. And I'm going to show you that as well today, how it all works. Some of you have already been to my studio, so you know what it looks like. Now I'm going to show you how it works bit by bit. All right. Now, before we start, I'm going to show you a video. God, I hope this works. I tried it before. I'm going to show you a video about our studio, our promo video. Here we go. Oh, guys, whoops. Okay, so you're telling me there's no sound. Bugger. Okay. Don't worry about that. Let's just watch the clip at the moment, and you'll be able to see. I'll send you the clip with sound later. What a shame. Just goes for a little bit longer. Oh. Okay, guys, I'm back now. Did that? Sorry, did the sound kick in after I muted myself?
No, I didn't. But anyway.
Oh, don't worry.
We got the idea. It looked really good. Like
Did it look good?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
As long as it looked good, guys, that's amazing. No, look, I'll send you the link after all this for the sound as well. It's our promotional video, just so you know, that we did about 7 years ago now. And it set us up basically to really demonstrate what we do as a boutique fitness facility in the area. Now, not only was it a great branding exercise for us, but it brought in a shit ton of clients. So we put that smack bang on the front of our website, and people just saw that straight away. Obviously, the sale was there; it was already done, and people gravitated towards our studio just to find out a little bit more, first of all, and then get them started. But it was a really good qualifying exercise that we did to get more clients in. So once again, I apologize. I'll send you the full link so you can watch it on our website with the sound there as well. But the purpose of that was to just give you a bit of an idea about what we do and how we do it and what the clients feel about it. The imagery, I guess, or the video itself gave you sort of an idea, but the words that were spoken from our staff and our clients really echo that message. So moving on, unfortunately, I'll send you that again though, don't worry. The history of Fitness Revelation, just so you can get a real good understanding about where we're going with this workshop today. So it was established in 2004. I was only 24 years old, so I was a spring chicken. Not so much anymore, obviously, but 17 years ago, I started this studio with not much of an idea, just knowing that I really wanted to establish something in the local area. A lot like you guys, you're fresh, you want to get out there, you want to make a difference to people and really be part of their success. So that's what I was all about back then. The physical size of the studio is 130 square meters. It's inside a sporting club. Now, when I started in this studio, the sporting club was almost run down. Like it was almost about to shut the doors and they were about to walk away. I came in, rented some space. My rent kept the doors open for the first 12 months. And then they got a marketing company and they were back in business, which has really worked well for us now because our business accelerated once their business did again. So it's been a really good working relationship. At the time of inception, when I developed the business, there was no competition in the area, which was amazing. There was a really good platform for me to build on. That's why I saw the opportunity there. I didn't have any support though, and I did long hours. As I mentioned in the previous workshop, I did 90 hours a week. I was sleeping at the studio. I wasn't even going home to seeing my then fiance. I wasn't having meals with her. She planned our whole wedding. I had no idea. I just turned up on the day. It was full on. It was ridiculous. So my message to you today and what I'm trying to help you guys with is to show you that it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to grind so hard. I'm going to show you the way to do it properly. So I've owned this private studio for 17 years. I've been recruiting my own staff for 20 years. Even before I owned my own studio, I still did outdoor training and worked out of gyms, like just as a personal trainer, but I had a staff member with me at any given time. So I learned how to hire people. Just to give you an idea as well, 3 out of 10 of my staff have been with me for 10 years or longer. So Carolina, I'm going to show you more about this, but you're asking before how I keep my staff. 3 of them have been with me for, it's now 12 years. and another 3 have been with me over 5 years. I'm going to show you the formula to keeping good start. Okay. We have the best retention rate of members in our area, now 94%. So it was 94% last year. It's on track for that again this year. Even with the COVID pandemic, we're still keeping our clients to some capacity. Okay, they're dropping off, obviously with their training because we've had to shut the gym, but they're still in our community and they're still paying us, for online training. So they're still there. And for the guys who weren't on the workshop before, I still own 70% of this business. So I've sold off 30% of the business now, but I still own 70. So that's the really cool part about all this. The numbers I'm going to show you today, I still am generating 70% of that. All right, here we go. So 17 years later, these are the stats that go through our business at last glance in the last month, at last financial year, sorry. We did 7,500 PT sessions, 800 group exercise sessions per year. An average revenue, as you can see, 60 grand from 160 members. That's it. So you see these big box gyms and these, bigger franchises, they have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of members. We generate this revenue from 160. So our average spend per member is much higher than the average you would get at these Anytime Fitness, Snap Fitness, and just name a few, even Fitness First, with bigger square meterage and a lower entry price for their memberships. So this is where I'm really going to show you why this studio is the most profitable studio per square meter. You've got to remember that part. We've got 94% retention rate, the highest in Sydney, I can tell you right now. We've got 8 staff, 3 of which have been longer than 10 years, as I mentioned. We're the longest serving fitness facility in the area. Like I said, I started this 17 years ago and there was nothing. There's no competition. So we're the longest, we're still alive. And I do 0 face-to-face sessions. So what I'm about to show you, how it all works, is remembering I don't do any face-to-face sessions in this business. Okay, so today, this is just out the front of our studio, which you would have seen. We've got our flags set up. We've got our signage exposed to the local area. We've got what am I trying to say? People who walk past. So traffic that way. We've got people who drive past. So we've got exposure, which is a great thing. We've got street frontage. All right, street frontage signage, which is really, really important. But today, I'm going to peel back the curtain of this studio and show you the culture, the team, the community, the programs we run, and then I'm going to drill down and show you really how it works. Okay, so strap yourself in. You're going to get some really cool info here today. So as you guys know, and look, you're part of the Trainer HQ program, so you understand what they're about, and that extends down to, or not extends down to, but I'm on par with what they teach and what they're all about. It's about the culture, it's about the community, and it's about bringing people together. And that's what Trainer HQ is about. That's what this studio is about. So the culture. So it's a relaxed culture. It's fun. It's welcoming. It's non-invasive. It's professional. It's caring. It's social. And it's what people call the third place. And I've given it that label because it's the other place that they go to apart from home and work. All right. It's the third place. The third place is where they want to be, where they can relax, where they can have fun, where they can work on themselves, and where they can meet other people and socialize. So I'm going to jump to you guys on the workshop right now, because this was meant to be a obviously interactive workshop where we'd sit down and we'd have a discussion about things. I want to ask you, again, you don't have to have a facility, but in your business, what is the culture right now? If you can just maybe say a couple of your own words. You can unmute yourself, guys. Just jump in. Feel free.
I think mine is a lot of fun, but hard work as well.
Cool. I like it, Carolina. So they're still working hard while they're there to get a result.
Yeah, they have to work hard.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But they have fun too.
Sorry, what was that?
But they have fun as well.
Yeah, of course. Well, you have to have that. Otherwise, it wouldn't come back, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Thank
Or
you.
fear, maybe.
That's right. Cool. All right. Dave's written it's exclusive, it's private, and it's fun. All right. Beautiful. Anyone else?
I think it has a very supportive and encouraging atmosphere. So we're trying to sort of get away from being all judgy and sort of, what workout gear are you wearing and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's hard because I approach everything. I still want it to look aspirational. I still want people to want to join. So we can't look too daggy. We can't appear like we're sort of, just a sort of, collection of old grannies or something.
Yep.
But I don't want it to have that kind of impersonal feel that a lot of those slick, kind of sausage factory type gyms have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. That's cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Della. Matteo, you popped up there before. Amber, I've got you.
Mine's kind of a culture of very caring and nurturing because I've only been sort of on nutrition coaching to this point. But it's just always trying to find that balance of just being a little bit hard on people when I need to prompt them to keep going forwards. I've found if I'm too caring and nurturing, they tend to just bask in that and not actually make any progress.
Yeah.
So it's a balance of being loving and caring, but also firm and holding them accountable when they need it.
Yep, perfect. Love it.
Yeah, so mine's very, very similar, very focused on just wanting people to thrive just in life, not just in their fitness. So I really preach like mindset, exercise, nutrition. Like I just want people to focus on kind of every area and develop every area of their lives.
Right. Thanks. Is it Janice? Janus?
Yeah, it's pronounced Janusz.
Janusz. Gosh, sorry, mate. Janusz. Janusz. Got it. I won't forget that. Beautiful. Thanks, mate. Thanks for sharing.
No problem.
All right, guys. Go ahead, Benny. Last one.
Yeah, mate. Ours is boutique. Definitely very professional and definitely all about the banter as well. So just kind of like keeping it people fun, energized, and kind of good bands.
Love it. Beautiful. Thanks, mate. All right. Excellent, guys. Thank you for sharing. We'll keep going then. So next we've got the team. All right. So the team. This is important. This is probably the most important part of the studio itself. All right. Professional, mature, inspiring, focused, flexible. All right. These are my things when I'm looking for key characteristics. When I'm bringing on new team members, these are the things I'm looking for. They have to be team players. All right. They have to be able to work independently when they need to, but also come together and work as a team. Okay. That is so important. They have to also, we have to reward and encourage them. So as a business, we need to recognize their achievements and reward and encourage them. All right, as individuals, but as well collectively as a team. And I'm going to show you some ways we do that. Learning and development, we contribute to their learning and development too. So it's important that they keep on learning, keep on developing as technicians. And we encourage them to do that, and we financially encourage them to do that. I'll show you how we do that. We incentivize our team. That's another part of it. So incentives through financial incentives, maybe other things that they may not be, financially motivated. So maybe things like holidays. We might just give them a holiday. So look, take a couple of days off. We'll pay you for your time. Just go and enjoy yourself. We might shout them to a restaurant with their partner. One of my female trainers, you can see in the background there, Michelle, top left. She was getting married 5 years ago, and she had some KPIs that I really wanted her to achieve. And so she's not very financially motivated. So what I did is I said, well, look, how about I pay for your wedding dress? And by the way, I didn't know how much a wedding dress was at this stage, so maybe I wouldn't have done it if I knew, but it was about $3,500. So she pushed hard. She told me, what wedding dress she wanted. She showed me the price. So I set the KPIs around that and how it would best serve the business and how she will get the most growth out of it as well as a little project for her. She hit those KPIs. I bought her the wedding dress. She was pumped. Case closed. Average age, just in our business, and this is not, I don't hire people based on age, but our average age is 35 years old. So it brings that sense of maturity to the business too. These trainers have a bit of life experience. they're also a little bit more, sorry, not like they've got life experience, but they've also got industry experience most of the time if they start a bit younger. Some trainers come into the industry a little bit later. So that person, Viv, down at the bottom left, you can see on the screen, she's 65 now, I think, but she started with me 13 years ago. So just when she was 52 and she came into the industry then. So that was an amazing journey that she's had, and she is a key, still with us, key component of the Fitness Revelation system. And she is testament to the way that we have actually trained our trainers up through our system to be the professional that she is today. And she's really found her niche, and I'll talk more about that later. That's right, Amber. Don't worry, you're doing well. You're not. Yep, you're in that demographic, and that's where you know, a lot of our clients are in that demographic too. I'll show you a bit about that. Right, so retention is the key. So retaining your staff. So I can't harp on this enough. The cost of bringing on a new staff member is, I think, 5 times or 6 times as much as it costs to retain them. So similar with clients, you know, when you lose a client, you've got to spend that time on marketing. You've got to spend that time on trying to sell them in, on advertising to new people, nurturing them, et cetera, et cetera. Likewise with staff, you spend all your time training them up, getting them to a point where they've got a good client base, where they're actually liked within the community, and then they end up leaving because of something that potentially the business isn't doing to look after them. So it's really, really important to look after your staff as well. Okay, now they do obviously have to bring something to the table. They have to contribute to your business and to the learning areas of, you know, your systems as well, but you've got to reward them and look after them at the same time. All right, so here you go, Carolina. This is the sum of the answers how I keep my trainers 10 times longer than industry standard. And this is why, like I said, this contributes to the profitability of the studio. So industry standard right now is between 6 and 9 months, okay, in the industry. So trainers coming through in the Cert 4, I call it personal training school, they come through, they exit they get their certificate, and they're out of the industry within 9 months. In some cases, some of the data shows that 6 months in one place, like in one space, working for one company, for example, but on average, it's 9 months in general. So I've just melted those two stats together. So 9 months in the industry, and then they're out again because, you know, A, they weren't taught enough, B, they weren't looked after, or C, they didn't have the tools, you know, the list goes on. But generally speaking, it's 9 months in one space, in the industry. What I do, or what I did in my studio to keep these clients, to keep these trainers, is lead from the front. You know, be the example. Show them what you expect from them by leading from the front. Show them your work ethic. Set the example of work ethic. Set the example of personal training, the standard that you bring to your training clients, if you are training clients, and what the expectation is of that, by, again, leading by example. So try, and this is what I did from right early on, is I actually worked with these guys side by side on the studio floor. So I was training my clients while they were training their clients, so they could see the professionalism that I brought to each session. You know, meeting my clients at the reception area, having a towel ready for them, wiping down their, you know, their mat after they stretch at the end. We even at the start, we had an introductory, what we did as part of our policy, we gave our clients a neck and shoulder massage at the end of their session. So they left feeling relaxed, like super relaxed, but energized at the same time. So just showing that next level of professionalism is so important. Now at the start, again, you know, what I talked about in the last workshop is exiting from your business, but you've got to be involved in your business before you can exit, in my opinion. You know, to make it a successful business, you've got to be involved. And it doesn't mean that you need to be doing all the training sessions. You know, you just need to be in and around it. I gave the example on the last workshop of being the maitre d' in your business. Just being around, greeting people as they walk in the door before they go into their training session. The other day, I was up at my studio just dropping in to see my manager, and there were a couple of clients up there with a couple of the trainers, and they all each individually came over and spoke to me. They just wanted to know what was going on, how the family was, all that sort of stuff. So it was really important for me to know that they were still, you know, obviously there training, but also interested in what I was doing. And I obviously remembered what they were doing too. And, you know, we go way back. So it was excellent just to see that that was still the case. You want to create a friendly working environment. So I'm sure that all you guys in this workshop today are friendly people. You're bringing professionalism to your business, but you're also there to have a bit of fun and be friendly and welcoming. And that's what we talked about before with the interaction. So creating a friendly working environment has paid off for us so that our trainers don't feel threatened and they don't feel intimidated and they don't feel on edge, when they come into our working environment. It's a fun place to be and work at. Another tip, give them key roles in your business. That's what we do. We have accelerated or promoted our trainers along the way in their career at Fitness Revelation. You can see Tim, he's in the middle there. He's got the 2 awards. One's FitRev Trainer of the Year, and the other one was, he did 1,500 plus PT sessions in a year in 2016. So there are a couple of rewards and bonuses, like, recognitions, but also now he's the studio manager. He's the guy that does the day-to-day, that's in there. He's been with me 13 years now. He's the one in there running the show. So it's important to find or give them key roles in your business when they need to move, or even employ staff in key areas that need filling. And create a career for them. Like, this just doesn't happen. People just don't stick around, as you guys know. We said at the top, 9 months in the industry. People don't stick around if there's no reason for them to. So create a career for them. Create a stepping stone each year, each couple of years, where they can progress in your business. They take on more responsibility. They get a different role. They get a promotion. Whatever it is. I know that Tim was getting a bit flat. He's an amazing trainer. One of the best in the industry. But I could tell he's just getting flat with that. So I gave him the role of studio manager, and he just relishes in it. He loves being a bigger part of the machine. So that's what it's about. Recognize that in your staff. Even ask them questions. Do you want more responsibility? Where do you see yourself in this business? Ask them those questions so they can give you the answers. You don't have to guess. I touched on the incentivizing with individual specific rewards, the wedding dress earlier, monetary rewards, financial bonuses, things like that. We incentivize our trainers with new sales. So every time they sign someone up, they get $50. So, they'll bring someone into the business, the Fitness Revelation business, they'll get $50. If someone's referred to them, like even if they don't physically sign that person up and they're referred into the business to come and see that trainer, I'll still give the trainer $50 because obviously the reputation is what is bringing new leads in. So that's just the cheapest advertising and marketing you'll ever do. I don't need to do that, by the way. There's no need for me to pay these guys more than what I'm already paying them. But it's just these extra little bonuses that they really appreciate, and they don't go out of their way, incidentally, to get the extra $50 here and there. It's just that, it gravitates towards them. The referrals gravitate in, and I'm just going to I'm going to acknowledge those rewards. I'll acknowledge those efforts and that energy that they're putting out there. Carolina has written, would they do their own consults? Yes and no, Carolina, good question. So what they do, and I'll touch on this in a little minute in the next slide, but they do their own sales consults if they feel comfortable, all right? And there's a process behind that. So I know early on from personalities, if they're not comfortable, they won't do it because obviously that's not their strength. And chances are they might lose the sale just based on that. Okay, so
if, for example, in that case, when you said the person, because of their reputation, the new client comes in,
yeah,
then you have to do the consult, would you still give them the $50?
Yes, I would, because it's not so much that they're selling that client in, it's just that they've been recommended to train them. Yeah, yep, totally.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right, Carolina. But that's the reputation, I guess. I'm rewarding their reputation rather than the actual process of selling that person in.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Now, the big one here, by the way, guys, is the contribution we give to their ongoing learning. So each individual trainer at our studio, Fitness Revelation contributes $500 per year for their ongoing learning. So what that means is, if they want to do a course in, let's call it MetaFit, MetaPower, something, even a massage course, if that fits in with the key values of the business, and I can see that moving our business forward and maybe adding another string to our revenue bow, then I will contribute part of that money, whatever it is, the $500 per year, towards that course for them to do. So effectively, they're getting free training. If they're doing a course for $500 a year, guess what? They just got free training for the year. So that's part of the reason they stay longer with us. Otherwise, they're paying that out of their own pocket. There's a good little incentive there, a bit of a carrot hanging in front of them. We also contribute, I think I've written it in here, in the next part. Yeah, I pay their first aid and CPR. So every year we get someone in to our studio to teach all the staff, or renew their first aid and CPR. Okay, so every year we get a senior, what are they called? Senior first aid specialist in, and they take the staff for a couple of hours and renew their certificates. Okay, so I just pay one price, done, it's all there, done and dusted. If they miss that training, they have to go and do it themselves and then pay for it themselves. All right, so it's in their best interest to get to that training day. Okay, so there are a couple of things there. Like there's a couple of really good carrots that hang in front that keep them at our studio. And last of all, appreciate them. You know, really appreciate them. Show them that you care. Even just pat them on the back and say, "Great job." You know, just check in with them, make sure they're okay. All right. Before I move on, any more questions around that staffing part?
Yeah, Ben, I just had a question. Do you pay them by the per session or by the hour, or do you pay them salary?
Yep, good question, Amber. So they're all contractors, so we pay them per session.
Right.
So if they don't work, they don't get paid.
So, and do you find that incentivizes them to work more, and do they have any control then over the number of sessions they do? Or so if they wanted to earn more money, could they just come to you and say, well, I want to add sessions or do something like that?
100%. So what we do is that we've got a centralized diary that all the trainers can log into and put their sessions in. All the clients are Fitness Revelation clients. So, you know, my Studio Manager knows how many sessions are being done per week. And at the end of the week, the trainer invoices Fitness Revelation for the training sessions they complete. What we do, just quickly, is we actually incentivize how many sessions they do per week as well by paying them at different pay rates. So the more sessions they do, they go into a different pay scale or pay bracket.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I'll share that with you later.
Just another question quickly. Do then clients then have the choice as to who they train with, or do they just pick a time slot and any of your trainers can show up and train them in that time?
Bit of both, Amber. So basically
Right.
What happens is, you know, if we go on the first example, the previous example of someone getting referred into the business to go and see, for example, Nathan, one of our trainers, we will key that up and make sure that Nathan's appointment diary is available, and we'll slot them in at the time they want, if it is available. Alternatively, if they do come into the business, we try and work out, if they're not fussed on which trainer they want, we work out which trainer would best suit them for their goals and personality.
Okay, so then in the scenario where you might have a client that says, well, I can only do 9 a.m. Monday to Friday, and you don't have one trainer that can fit all those slots, you just talk to the client and basically agree to just have different trainers.
Correct, that's right.
Yeah, cool.
Yep, cool. Cody, I see you there. Hand up, with your hand up.
Yeah, mate. Is that the pay scale thing that's in the portal with the guys, that contractor employee one?
No, Cody, it's a little bit different. So what I'll do, I'll show you the pay scale that I use. I'm pretty sure I put it in here. I'll explain a bit further along because I did touch on it.
Yeah, and my other question is, obviously, how do you go with, isn't there stipulations around when contractors work so long for you and regarding their super and all of that sort of stuff, if it's over 12 months? If your majority of their pay each week?
Yep. So what happens is with my contractors, what we contract or what we agree upon with their rate includes super. So effectively what happens is I pay them, they invoice me at the end of the week. I pay them that amount, and that includes their super. Yep. So then they're responsible for putting that super in their own account.
Okay, and you've got that written into your contract to cover
Correct.
you, to make sure.
Yep, correct.
Okay, cool.
Cool. All right. Thanks, mate.
Sorry, can I ask you something? So you said in the previous webinar that each client roughly do 25 sessions a week.
Yep.
So how much is in that in terms of money? So how much in average each client, each PT is getting a week? Because that wouldn't be crazy amounts, I would say.
No. So the thing here, Carolina, is that they don't, and I'll talk about this a bit further, but they don't actually work ridiculous hours at our studio. So they're doing, let's say it's 25 half-hour sessions as well.
Yeah.
So it's not the full hour sessions.
Yeah.
All right. So what that means is, I guess they're working in other places. So they're making up their money. If they want to go and have some outdoor clients somewhere else and make the bigger margins, then they've got their own clients for that outside.
Okay. So your PTs normally don't work full time with you.
No. And I'll explain that. I'll come to that. Don't worry. It all makes sense. It'll all make sense in a sec.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. No worries. All right, guys, I'll move on. So we're going into community next, and you'll resonate with this as well. What we do is we're very, very in tune, in touch, and engage with our community. So we're active, we promote with our community, we go to events, we run charities. This is a car washing event that we did. A charity car washing event that we did. We do social days where we all come together. We have a barbecue, might be down at the beach. You know, there's all this sort of stuff that is pretty obvious to most of you that you'll be doing anyway, but it's just about the consistency of that. Okay, so making sure that you are running this stuff. It is in your marketing calendar and your social calendar as well. So I'm not going to touch on that too much. This is one of our outdoor sessions, our outdoor groups that we run. It's part of our programs and services. So breaking down our revenue streams, which I did in the first workshop. It's about studio memberships, personal training, semi-private training, group exercise, massage, kids classes, and there's corporate events, exercise physiology and corporate as well. So there's many multiple streams of fitness income, like I spoke about before. Okay, as you can see here, you know, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, there's about probably 12, maybe 12 people in that class, group exercise classes. Most of you will be doing this sort of stuff anyway. Most of you will be doing this, outdoor classes. You can run these as memberships. You can run these as, 10 packs, whatever you want to do. But we experience the reason we experience the greatest amount of revenue or profit is because we keep our overheads low and we keep our revenue high. Okay, so there's a much bigger margin in there. In fact, our biggest cost is our staff. And as you guys were just talking about before, it doesn't look like our staff get paid a lot. And just keep in mind, that is our biggest cost, okay? Because our rent isn't even as big as our staff cost, which I'm about to show you. So that's the overall picture, okay? That's probably the umbrella going over the studio. Now we're going to drill down. I'm going to talk about the staff structure, so you'll get more of an understanding about this now. The studio layout for maximum profit. So because you can't physically be there, I'm going to show you what the studio looks like today and how we utilize the most amount of profit through that space, and the daily, weekly, and monthly task lists that make this studio hum along. Okay, so here's a little picture. This was taken 2016, 17, and we'll go through November. All right, so just another example of the fitness, sort of the charity stuff we do as well, the fundraising stuff. But the staff structure is like this. They're contractors. All right, they're contractors. They're not employees, and there's a place for employees as well in your business. But for my business model, they're contractors. They get between 40 and 50% of every session. The reason this happens, and this is important, the reason this happens is because you've got to remember, in that other 50% that you're taking, you're still in charge of those overheads. You're still in charge of the overall insurance of the business, the rent of the business, the ongoing outgoings, their staff training, which I've contributed to. You're in charge of the other costs, like the upgrading of equipment and all sorts of things. So just remember that 50% that you're getting is responsible for all the rest of the stuff that most people don't talk about. We do our in-house qualifications as well. So once someone gets a Cert 4 and they're ready to be a personal trainer, it doesn't mean that that's where it ends with us. Okay, so we do short courses on all sorts of things. Myofascial release, and by the way, these aren't courses as such that are, if they took this somewhere else to another work environment, that they would have a certificate for. Okay, these are just in-house qualifications from our other trainers and what they've learned and their expertise. So they're getting more knowledge, I guess is the best way to put that. They do handle renewals. Okay, so when someone does renew a membership, or they've been with, the client has been with them for a little while, a year, for example, they will get a reward. The trainer will get a little reward. It might be a couple of movie tickets. Okay, it's nothing huge, but it's just something to say, well done. You know, you've renewed a client for another year. They do handle the sales. That was a question earlier. So the ones that are competent, and when I say competent, they go through a training process, a sales training process, similar to what you guys have got exposure to with the Trainer HQ program. And incidentally, I've got about half of my staff, and I'd like more of them on the Trainer HQ Pathway to Profits program. Okay, so they're going through similar things that you're going through. I've just done it myself for the last 15 years. But since I've had the opportunity to work with Trainer HQ, I've had the opportunity to share those systems with my staff. Okay, so they're getting the same sort of exposure to those things that you guys are. We've got a thing, by the way, called the 800 Club. So if the staff do 800 personal training sessions in a calendar month, which is possible, which is what has happened very many times, they will have a staff social day that I'll pay for. All right, so they can go to paintball, or they can go to an obstacle course, or they can go bowling, or they can, have a dinner out somewhere together, and I'll put the bill for that if they're doing all those sessions. So they are incentivized in many, many, many ways, and this is the way we keep the staff, and this is the way we keep the revenue up as well. Okay, so they're doing these training sessions and getting a reward at the end. So it's a win-win situation. All right, let's keep the discussion open, guys. Is there any more questions around that, around the staff structure? I'll show you the payment structure soon, but this is just the staff structure. Nope. No, Amber, yep.
Yeah, sorry. What's your go-to source for finding new staff? How do you find them? How do they come to you?
Yeah, cool.
Find them.
Yeah, great question. I get this asked all the time, actually. Look, I've got about 5 different sources. The first being obviously word of mouth. We put it out. I've got a pretty good network of people in the fitness industry now. So 20 years gives you that network, and I can just ask around for people that may be looking for some work and recommendations. That's the first port of call. Secondly, we're looking at courses that the Cert 4 courses. So the places where there are people coming out coming into the industry that are looking for a place to learn. And when I say that, we offer internships and traineeships in our studio. So it's not just they're going to come in and get 10 clients and we're going to let them go for it. They're going to go on a training program with us if they're looking to do that, and we groom them into from a good trainer to a great trainer, basically. Then if we're looking for a senior trainer, someone who's a little bit more conditioned in the industry, we're going to what is it called? We're going to Seek, Healthy People, and Sports People. They're our top 3. I've heard Indeed are also good. A couple of the guys on this call have gone through Indeed as well. So there are places for that. Now, I did do another workshop on staffing and how to find the staff. How to hire and keep good staff for life. So this part of it's just touching on the bigger workshop I did earlier. But go into the Trainer HQ business building site and you'll see all that stuff as well there, Amber. All right, cool. All right, we'll move on, guys. Now, here we go. So the Smart Studio formula, this is what I call it, the multiple streams of fitness income. All right, so we touched on this in the previous workshop, but for those who weren't there, I'm just going to skim through it so you can have a bit of an idea about where this revenue comes from. So we've got studio memberships, personal training, semi-private training, group exercise, massage. I talked about this in the previous slide, but these are all the financial, I guess, the tracking next to it. So you've got your studio memberships, which probably about only a quarter of our members are on. They're on a direct debit. Personal training between $650 and $900 for 5 weeks, so which works out between $130 and $180 a week, where people buy them in packs. Semi-private training, people buy them either on direct debit or in packs. Group exercises, direct debit, $65 a week. And you can see there's so many different revenue streams here that can be bundled. So even if you just want to sell them individually, you can. If you think someone just needs personal training or can only fit in personal training or just wants personal training, that's the price for that. If they do a studio membership, we bundle things like they can have one personal training session a week and unlimited group exercise, or they can have, 3 sessions a week and access to our VIP online learning center, which we do have as well. So there's many, many different ways that we work revenue streams into our business. So it's not just personal training. It's not just trainers doing the sessions, it's so many different ways in which we can angle this. The corporate events is one I didn't touch on. We still get inquiries about that, and we hold them at our facility in a hall that's available there as well for $500 an hour. So, and that's just on stuff like, relieving stress in the workplace, or how to sleep your way to success, or the best lunchtime foods, things like that. And they're just workshops really. So there are a couple of different ideas there for you, but these are our multiple streams of fitness income. This is how we make this studio as profitable as we can. And just remember as well, if I can say this, like the massage, the massage, the corporate events, and some of the semi-private training isn't happening in the studio. Okay, so we're not even using our 4 walls for this. That's the pretty cool part about it. All right, now guys, this is what you would have been seeing if you were here at my studio in Sydney. Okay, this is the studio layout. This is what it looks like. Take a second just to have a little look. The top left image is the back room of our studio. So we've got 2 little rooms, and they're separated by the bottom right-hand picture is a little walkway you can see there. So the front room, bottom right-hand corner is our front room, and the back room is the pic next to that to the left and the upper left, just different angles. And the middle, the one in the top right-hand corner is our hall area. Okay, so that's part of the sporting club that we can utilize for classes. All right, so if you're really looking at it properly, you've got a fitness studio, which is about 65 square meters. That's the bottom right hand and the top left hand combined, pitches combined. And the rest of it, to makes up the 130, is that hall in the middle. Okay, where you see all those people in the group exercise. So we don't run group exercise in there all the time. We run about 15 to 20 classes a week, but we also run a lot of our personal training out of there when the classes aren't on. So we can double up. We can use our studio as well as the hall there. Now, while we're just looking at this, are there any questions about that? It's combined 130 square meters. Okay, and this is why this is the most profitable studio, as you can see from the numbers I've already shown you, per square meter. It doesn't look big, does it? It's not a big studio. And even if you get in there, it's probably smaller. I think the photos are set at a nice angle, so it looks a bit bigger as well.
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
If you've got, say you've got 5 trainers in there with 5 different clients.
Yep.
How do you, I guess it doesn't happen very often, but just say, 3 trainers want to use the lat pull down machine, or what happens there? Do they just all kind of work around each other?
Yeah, Della, great question. So this is part of it. This is part of hiring the right staff so they can actually act on instinct and sort of be, I've lost that word, can sort of act on their feet, I'm going to say. If giving your example, people would use something else. They use another piece of equipment. We never have a backlog. So thank you, proactive, Matteo, that's the word I was after. They can actually move and find another piece of equipment, or take some dumbbells out into the hall area, or, just move their program slightly so that they don't have to use the lat pull down. But we also have a policy as well, that there's only 2 people in any given area at any given time. Okay, Della. So what that means is you see the back room in the top left-hand corner, there can only be 2 trainers with 2 clients in there.
Right,
Then
yeah, okay.
in the front room, 2 trainers, 2 clients. And then in the hall, there can be 4 trainers with 4 clients, a bit bigger. So that's how we manage our mornings, or the whole session, the whole studio setup. That's how we manage that. And Amber's asked a question. Sorry, it says, "Are your toilets part of the sporting club?" Yes, that's correct. They are. That's right, Amber. So our toilets are part of the sporting club. We've got showers though that are ours, which are just out the back of the second room. So we've got showers out the back, 2 showers for our members, but the toilets are part of the sporting club, which helps us out tremendously.
And that trainer thing, how you said 2 in 1 room, and that's laid out in your protocols and everything?
It is, yep, absolutely, Cody. And it's also laid out on our Mind Body software so that people can't book into the same room. Carolina. No? Okay, cool. Sorry, your microphone was on then. I thought you had a question. Okay. I'll move on, guys. So this is going to become much more obvious.
Ben,
Yeah.
I have a question. So you said, because I saw you have like membership for the people to train there.
Yes.
So I thought it was a little bit bigger, like people can go and train themselves. So they pay membership, but they cannot use the gym unless they are using classes or PT?
Correct. So it's what's called a bundle. It's basically 2 services or 3 services are bundled, and we call it a membership.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I'm training with you or your trainers twice a week and I want to do a 3rd session, I cannot go and train on my own.
No, unfortunately, as you can see, there's no room for that. So, yeah, so it's a good point. And by the way, just so everyone knows, I did do that early on. I actually did do a membership where people could come in and use the facility when they weren't training with a trainer. Now, I found out very quickly that drove my profit per square meter right down, because there were people hanging around, taking up space when they weren't really paying anything. You know, it was just a value add. So there was no monetary return for the business.
So what is the average of per client? How many times a week do they train with their trainer?
The average client trains 1.5 times a week. So I ran that up to 2 sessions a week.
Per client?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, all right. I'll show you some more stats now. Okay. So guys, this is our morning, like an example morning at the fitness studio. All right. Now this is how many? 1, 2. This is when I was working in the studio, by the way. So this is from 2016. I just got a screenshot of this. By the way, we still got the same amount of trainers and they still do the same amount of sessions. But this is an old slide that I just found. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 trainers in there, including me. That's a morning. 45 sessions, plus classes. So that's just to give you an idea of how busy that place can get. Now, that's one morning. So I think it was a Thursday. Yep, Thursday was our busiest morning back then. It's now Tuesday for some reason. I don't know. But Mondays are generally more quiet than most days. Again, I don't know. People are a bit slow to start off the week. But on average, we'll do between 170 and 200 half-hour training sessions a week. And this, you know, for example, this Thursday was an amazing example. It was 44, 45 sessions for that morning. So it was about a quarter of our weekly thing. Our weekly sessions in one morning. So that's why I show. It's just an amazing example of what can happen in that space. Now, usually do 30, sorry, this is from Amber. Do you usually do 30-minute sessions? So the client perception is average 65 per session. That's correct, Amber. So we do our sessions on a half-hour scale for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it allows our trainers to earn more money for the time that they're there. So as you could see, it was when I was talking about in the previous workshop, 130 bucks an hour. It's actually 65 for half an hour. So the perception is that the client that they're paying less, So therefore, they'll come more times during the week. Also, the trainer can put back-to-back sessions in every half hour, so they can earn more over the whole hour than they would if they were just charging for an hour, if that makes sense. All right, so this is what we've done with our studio. This is the goal, as you can see, bottom left-hand corner, the goal for the studio, not the hall area, but the studio. What I've done, this is on our old rates. So this is when this client was paying $59 for half an hour. All right, down the bottom left-hand corner, you can see a key. It's a green, yellow, and red key. High usage, which means more trainers in the area. Medium usage, obviously medium amount of trainers, and also low usage. So one trainer in the area, in the studio at any given time. Corresponding to that is the price that the client is paying. So just to summarize, on a Monday, if we had three trainers working, or sorry, three trainers every half hour right through till midday, we would be earning that much money every half an hour, $177 per half hour. Make sense? Then what you do is you go, okay, at lunchtime it's probably a bit quiet. There's only going to be one trainer in there, and they'll do half-hour sessions in there. Then in the evening and afternoon, evening, traditionally for our space, for our business, it was quieter. So we'd only have two trainers in there, and again, every half hour charging $59. And Carolina's just said, are your trainers charging the same per session? Yes. So for our all our trainers are, have great qualifications. They're really, really experienced. If I brought on a new trainer, I would not charge them out as much. But at this current point in time, yep, they're all charging the same amount. We did have tiers in the past where we did bring on new trainers, but all our existing trainers are all the same rate because they've been with me for so long. But I would encourage you to have different rates for different levels of experience. And again, that's another workshop that I can steer you towards that I've done as well. For this example, if I can go back to it, we've got Monday. If I can look at the bottom here, our Monday cumulative total would be close to $4,000 if all these things happen. Now, by the way, this doesn't happen all the time, every day. It doesn't happen. So I'll be blatantly honest with you, that doesn't happen every day. Okay, this is the goal though. So this is what I set up for my space so I knew what the potential goal could be. Okay, so if I'm looking at it down the bottom, looking at the key, per week, this could be a $20,500 business. Okay, per month, it could be 85,000. Per year, it could be over $1 million. If this happened every day for the whole year, okay, which is nearly impossible. But if we got it close, let's just say we got it to 50%, it's a $500,000 a year business, which it currently is, and it's been as high as $800,000 a year. So we have really pushed it and got to that point, and that's only in this space. Okay, I hope that makes sense so far. I might be speaking a bit quickly, but just for an illustrative point of view, that's what that looks like. This one now is the second room, the hall area with the classes that you saw before. Okay, so for every day in the red, it says class, 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 class. Every time we run classes, we obviously can't make money from personal training. So I'll block that out. In the green areas are our high usage spaces again, where we can make money from trainers. As I've shown you before in the previous workshop, we have 5 to 6 trainers on in the mornings. 3 are in this space in the hall, as you can see. And then we've got 3 in the studio, okay, with that system of 2 in the front room, 2 in the back room, and we can move that around a bit. Hopefully that's making sense so far. Then if you scroll down again and you look at the big numbers down the bottom, this room alone, if filled to capacity with our goal, could be earning close to $900,000 a year, just that room alone. So this is where you work out what the capacity of your space is and the revenue, potential revenue you can earn if you're swapping time for money. Okay, this is only if you're swapping time for money. So if you're doing personal training sessions, if people are paying per session or per hour, this is how you can figure it out. If they're on a membership, like where you bundle things together and you add value and you do all sorts of things, you can't do this scenario. Okay, so for my studio specifically, this is how I've done it because we're a personal training majority studio. And This, by the way, this model is only for personal training, what I'm showing you right now. Okay, so there are classes in there in that second room, but mainly personal training or people training clients, exercise physiology, personal training, whatever it might look like, but people training people in that studio. So that's what that looks like. Okay, now are there any questions so far? I know there's a lot of information there, so I'm going to let you guys jump in. No questions at the moment. Okay, that's good. Matteo.
Yeah, sorry. With a home studio set up like mine, you've probably seen it in the past.
Yeah.
Is there any way of kind of scaling that if I wanted to add some externals like exercise physiologist or a massage or something into here?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely, mate. You've got, I mean, and just for everyone else, Matteo's got a gym out of his garage, right? So it's a really well set up gym. It's like a little studio. It's probably about as big as my back room here, I'd say. And it's got all the, bells and whistles. Now, Matteo, what you could do is exactly what I've done. You could put in about 2 or 3 trainers all working together. Some might go out on the driveway, get some fresh air. You can come in, one can go out there, one can come in, use some space, 2 can use the garage at the same time, and that's where you can work on that model that I just showed you, how much money you can earn per half hour or per hour through those sessions.
Yeah. Okay.
Easy, man. Absolutely.
Thanks, Big Ben.
No worries, man. Anyone else, guys, with that? I'll shift back to it so you can see.
I've seen that document in the portal. What's it called?
This one here, Cody.
Yeah.
Oh, no, this is my document. I don't think you'd see that one.
Sure, I've seen something similar.
You might have seen did you go through one of my other webinars or workshops?
Oh, mate, couldn't tell you what I've been on.
That's all right. I'll make this available for you though, if you want it. And I'm going to add a few resources for you guys anyway after this. Yeah, so you'll get your hands on it. Cool. All right. All right, guys. So now this is the cool part. This is where I get excited. I'm also going to send you an article just before I get too excited. I'm going to send you an article on that I wrote about the latest stats and how to work out your how you're making the most out of the space you have, how to work out your revenue per square meter in your facility and all that cool stuff. Okay, really, really big on stats and figures. I am in this space. Otherwise, you're really just on a hope plan. You don't know what you're doing. You sort of, you don't know what structure your business should be. So this is where I really love this sort of talk and these sort of numbers. So watch this next slide. All right. So making the most out of the space you have. Looking at it now. You want to calculate your total usable fitness floor. So like I said, I've got 130 square meters, all right, in my facility. That's not counting storage and showers. So the storage and showers, that's unusable fitness floor. That's not even fitness floor. So I don't count that. I count this, what I've got here, the 2 rooms, the 2 rooms in the studio plus the hall area as usable fitness floor. That's my 130 square meters. So that's the first step. Work that out. So Matteo, you'd be working out what the dimensions of your garage are. Okay. Right, mine's 130. I go by my yearly revenue of 750. This is a couple of years ago, by the way. 750 divided by 130. And that's my revenue per square meter per annum. Okay, so remember the number 750 is the revenue per year that goes through the studio, divided by the floor space that we use to create that revenue. And that's the number, 5769.23 per square meter per annum. All right, now I hope I haven't lost anyone yet, because when I was doing this myself, I lost myself a couple of times. I'll try and go slow. Next, just a bit of a side note, the average US studio is bigger. It's like 3 times as big as mine. And the average revenue or turnover is 407,000. So mine's doing 750 and it's a third of the size of any US studio, just as a side note. That would give them a calculation of $1,211 per square meter per annum. Okay. And as we go at the top here, mine's doing Mine's doing 5,769. So about 5 times the amount. 4 times, 4 times, 5 times, 4.5 times, 5 times, whatever it is. Let's call it 5 times the amount of the biggest studios in the US. All right. So we've done that part. We've worked out the revenue per square meter. Revenue per square meter. Then you minus your rent plus equipment costs per square meter. Okay, this is where it gets a bit tricky, so I'm going to slow down. You minus your rent, all right, first of all. And by the way, I've told you my rent's low. This is what I'm paying per year, 36,000 bucks per year for my rent for that space, 130 square meters. That includes access to the toilets that the sporting club has as well. So I told you in the previous workshop, I'd show you these numbers, and these are the numbers that make my studio so profitable. All right, next. The equipment is zero, because guess what? I own all my equipment outright. 17 years ago, the equipment cost was not zero. So I would have had to factor that in. I would have had to factor that in, whether I was leasing it or I owned it. I'd have to work out the total cost and factor that into the 130 square meters. All right, but at this stage, it's zero. So this is the equation. My rent divided by 130 square meters equals 276 per 92 per square meter. That's my cost per square meter for my studio. All right, that's the cost of the physical space per square meter that I have in my studio. Have I lost anyone yet? Because I know that this is this can melt your brain, this stuff. Well, it melts my brain anyway. But now that I know it, and I've talked about it a few times, I get it. But please sing out. If I've lost you, I'm happy to try and explain it. But if everyone's cool, I'll keep going. All right. Okay. I think everyone's cool. Good. All right. I'll keep going. So this is the cost. So let's go to the next part. The total operating revenue per square meter per annum. So it's the revenue you're making, which was the first slide, minus your expenses equals your actual net profit or revenue. Here we go. Question? Yep. How about utilities, insurance, etc.? Yep. So what we're talking about here, Amber, sorry, is gross profit. So your fixed cost. I know you're talking about utilities and insurance, right? You can factor that in, but when they're talking about profit per square meter, then they don't factor in utilities and insurance for some reason. I don't know why. But you can. My rent, by the way, my utilities is part of my rent, so I guess it is included. And insurance is minimal. It's about 2,000 bucks a year, 2,500. So yeah, but you make good points. They are fixed costs and things that you do have to consider as part of the square meterage. So for this example, again, my utilities are included in the rent, so that's part of it. The total operating revenue per square meter is 5,769 minus your expenses, 276. Okay, that's what this is. So I can tell you, I make per square meter in my studio for fixed costs, after fixed costs, sorry, $5,492.31. Okay, that's for every square meter of space that I have in my studio. So that's well over 5 times the average US independent studio. So you guys have a little project that you can do. You can actually go into it and go, all right, this is how much I've got. Like, this is how much space I've got. This is my rent and this is my equipment costs. Now I've got to work out how I can get the maximum revenue. And I've showed you that with my stuff, my multiple streams of fitness income out of that space. So you've got to work out what revenue or revenue funnels you can create to make as much revenue as possible in the space that you have. Does that make sense so far? I hope it does. I think it does. No one's shouting out, so I'm assuming it does. All right, cool. All right, Benny said yes, good. All right, Benny, great exercise for you, by the way, up at your studio there, if you haven't done that already. All right, guys, so that's that part of it. That's the really cool part I like doing, as well as the previous slide, to work out, you know, how much I can make per hour, per half hour in the spaces of my studio, but also now really drilling down and working out how much I'm making per square meter. in that space. And Mateo, yours is 15 square meters. Okay, mate. Well, you've got to work out obviously the equations around that. So that, and look, that's easy. You just plug those figures in, man, you're away. Okay, now I want to show you an example of our morning in our studio in room 2. So this is the hall area. I did a time-lapse video, and this is a couple of years ago as well. The time-lapse video of what happens in our hall here. All right, here we go. And there's no music to this, by the way, guys, so it's we're sweet. So there's a lot of traffic. You can see everyone's sort of spaced out. There are different trainers in different spaces, and people are going in and out of the studio, as you might be able to see as well. In and out, in and out, in and out. Classes changing over, people hanging around talking, get rid of them. More sessions going on, equipment spaced out, etc., etc. Okay, this keeps on going all the way through the morning, a lot of traffic. There's also sessions going on in the studio, by the way, guys. You can see those doors in the far right-hand space. There's sessions going on in there too. All right, and that is done. All right, so you can see it's a busy little setup. It's a busy little studio. For the space it is, you can see why it turns over so much revenue. And look, our pricing point is higher than some places. You've just got to factor that in. Remember, it's not always about your revenue. It's about your profit in that space. So our overheads are low, right, lowish, and our pricing's high. So we've got a big margin that we can play with, which works obviously to our advantage. All right, guys. Now, the next part of it is the 7 steps to studio success. Before I start that, though, I do want to see if there are any questions. I'm happy to keep rolling through this, but if you do have any questions, sing out now.
Hi, Ben, it's Amber again.
Hey, Amber.
Sorry for all the questions, but I'm quite fascinated by your business.
That's all right.
In your area, because Sydney's a little bit different to here, is it very like boutique-y gym around your sort of local area, or are there a couple of like the major big gyms around, or what's your sort of competition like?
Yeah, good question. So we've got about probably, I think at last check, we had 12 other fitness facilities within 2 kilometres of us.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's heavy competition. We're located in an affluent area, sort of down the road, more on the peninsula, so to speak. So it is an affluent area. Whereas the other existing fitness establishments are and I'll name them, you've got Fitness First, you've got F45, Anytime Fitness, those, all those sorts of places. They're about 1 kilometre or 1.5 kilometres up the road. So we're sort of away from that, so to speak, and we're the only fitness facility and boutique-y set up down towards the water, down towards the affluent area.
And so then with all those sort of demographics, what would your average client look like in terms of age and wealth?
Yep, good question. So our average client is probably semi-retired, in there from 45 onwards to sort of 75. Both males and females, 60-40, I reckon, males to females now. Yeah, and I guess have what's the word? Money to spend. Sorry, bit of brain dead. Money to spend. Disposable income.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, guys. I'm going to move on with this. We've still got a few slides to get through, and my 7 steps to studio success. So this is the part that really breaks down.
Oh, sorry, I've just got one question.
Yeah, Della, go.
It's just occurred to me. Do you have any just with Amber just jumping on there? Do you give people any help with their nutrition?
Yes, we do.
So how does that work? Is that part of their membership, or do they?
Yeah, no. So we've got 2 ways of doing it. We've got 2 allied nutritionists that we work with.
Yep.
Which we farm our clients out to, or we have a fellow who's got a master's in, oh God, what is it? I don't know. It's like dietetics or nutrition or something. I don't know.
Okay.
And he does some of that stuff as well in house.
Okay.
Yeah.
And sorry, Ben, do you charge separately for that, or is that included with if he's PT for you? Does he sort of include it?
Yeah, so he's basically, if we bundle it, like if we put it in a studio membership, it would be factored in, so they would get that as an additional service. He will get paid obviously for that time, and we have he actually is one of the personal trainers as well. So
so his qualification benefits everyone,
it does,
and then you pay him separately for the time that he puts into that.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries.
What about, is there a place where, like, do they have an office for the nutritionist part, or?
Yeah. So what? You might not have seen it in the last in that whole time lapse in the far corner. Yeah, there was Carolina. There's an office, like a staff break room that turns into a massage room and also a consult room.
All right, so the $65, 30 minutes is only purely for the training, but there is no follow-up with the food or anything.
That's right, exactly. So for example, the studio membership where people are paying, $275 a week, that includes the nutritionist plus group exercise, plus a couple of training sessions a week, etc.
Could I ask you what is it included in the nutritionist? What does it cover?
Yeah, so what happens is they, I don't know the specific ins and outs, but what I pay that person for is one consult per month. And then they do like a meal plan for them and set them up on weekly check-in calls.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, no worries. So guys, my 7 steps to studio success. Now we go into it. All right. Step one, we write everything down, and we go back to the first workshop. We write everything down, our daily, weekly, and monthly and annual tasks. This is now where we really get into the systemization of stuff. What is part of your business, that you do every day, whatever happens, write it down. Then it becomes a system. And I call it the step-by-step Vegemite sandwich process. So it's really simple. Get a piece of bread, get out the butter, get your knife, scoop the butter, blah, blah, blah. So it's one step at a time. This becomes your system. And then once you do this enough, you'll have a whole bunch of systems that we talked about in the first workshop. And when problems arise, guys, document them so they don't happen again. So many times early in my studio startup, I was, all these problems were coming in and I was fixing them on the spot, but I wasn't documenting them. So I'd either A, forget how to deal with it, or B, when the trainers came on board and it happened to them, they'd have to just figure it out themselves. Okay, so there wasn't any actual direction around that, which was frustrating for everyone involved. So my suggestion is, if something comes up, document it, and obviously have the solution for it as well, written down. All right, put everything into folders and categories, systemize it, put them in folders on your computer, have your sales and marketing folder, have your scripts folder, have your client retention folder, have all these different folders so that you can easily access all the information going forward. Okay, this is just step one of running this perfect, well, not perfect business, but highly profitable business. Step two, we're categorizing all your tasks. Now, if you jumped onto the workshop I did on Monday, I think Monday or the previous Monday, it was 2 Mondays ago, I think. It was about cutting your task down to 30 minutes a day. All right, if you haven't seen it, go back on Facebook and have a look. It's on the VIP page, Trainer HQ VIP page. And I talked about compartmentalizing your day, or batching your day into tasks. So what you want to do with your tasks is work out, are you good at it or not good at it? Okay, if you're good at it, great, shouldn't take you too long to do. If you're not good at it, farm it off to someone else, outsource it. Okay, next part, if you enjoy it or don't enjoy it. And lastly, if it energizes you or if it drains you. Every task that you do, you've got to break it down into those 3 categories. And I'm going to show you why. Because you've got to outsource them. You've got to outsource the ones that you're not good at, that you don't enjoy, and that drain you. Because guess what? They're going to take up all of your productive time. And you don't want that. You want to be as productive as possible and earning as much as you can in the time that you have in the day. Okay, Trainer HQ, we always talk about this. Focus on income producing tasks and focus on your time management. So important.
then with that, when you're saying the things that you don't like, for example,
Yep.
oh my God, I don't like Instagram or social media, but
Yeah.
how can I outsource if I am the one who has to take pictures of myself?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a good question. That's good. That's good. I
I
like that.
hate,
Yeah. You like your selfies, do you, Carolina?
what's that?
You like your selfies, do you? You like doing selfies?
No,
I'm just
no,
winding you up.
but I don't. I don't like pictures. But I mean, I don't like being on the phone all the time. But I feel like it's just part of the job. No, you just gotta do it.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
I have
Look,
sort of outsourced it, and then people keep asking you, "What do you want me to write?" Oh, and then you don't like what the person wrote. So it's like, you
you
know,
might. Yeah,
it's
you think you may as
hard.
well do it yourself. You may as well do it yourself. Yeah. So
Exactly.
but for things like social media, look, I think that adds. You need that as a personal thing. Okay. Even if you're not good at it, you got to be across it. Remember what I talked about in the first workshop? You just got to be across it. You got to know the ins and outs of how to do stuff. In the beginning, you're by yourself. You know, you've got one trainer, so you're still, I call it, in the trenches. So you've got to do a lot of the stuff yourself, which is fine. But going forward, you've got to work out these three things because they're just going to chew up too much of your time. Some things you might be, you don't enjoy doing them, but you're actually good at it. So there'll be some crossover.
Yes.
Yeah. Other things like, let's call it your social media stuff, you're probably good at it, but you just don't like doing it. So it's one of those things you've got to do in business.
The thing is, I don't enjoy it, and it drains me.
It drains you. Okay. Well, look, you know what? You can actually, I do none of my social media anymore. The only social media that I do is the stuff where there has to be a picture of me in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I find with my PT, she's really great at following instructions. She's amazing, but she's just as bad as me with social media. So it's like, oh no,
Yeah.
like no one likes it.
Well, this is the age we live in, right? We actually have to do this stuff. We have to do the social media. So we've actually got, and Mateo's actually written here as well. You can have companies that create content for you, and then you just focus on stories. So that's a good point, Mateo. In the social media realm, Mateo is really switched on. So I'm not. That's not my thing, and so that's why I farm all of that stuff out.
Yeah, I'll try it again.
So have a
Okay,
go. Look, talk to Mateo at the end of this, Carolina. That's what I suggest you do.
thank you.
All right. So to grow the business, though, if we're looking at it from a growth point of view, it's this. It's break it down to these categories. Then, when you've done that, you outsource the tasks that you are not good at, don't enjoy, and drain you. So, for example, if you've got admin-based stuff, you know, stuff where you have to reply to emails, you have to make phone calls, you know, or even receive phone calls. What we had early on, because I was receiving so many phone calls, I actually employed what's it called? A call center, you know, to actually receive my calls, take notes, answer questions. They had a script, so they could actually run through all of that. And I just got the summary. So it would weed out a lot of the bad leads as well that came through. And telemarketers would call you, so you don't want to be answering their calls all day. This is back in the day, 20 years ago, by the way. But you know, you see the concept of, you know, outsourcing is going to free up your time for the income-producing tasks. I've now got a VA who does a lot of my admin, my graphic design, compiling newsletters together, onboarding processes too. So you know, it's all available. My bookkeeper does all my accounting, you know, so it's all that stuff that you need to outsource to move forward for the growth. Okay, now we're talking about step 4. We're going creating systems and processes. Now I've already gone through all of these, and look, hey, guess what? They're coming up one by one this time. Amazing. For those who weren't in the last workshop, don't worry, you don't know what that means, but little inside joke. These are all things that you need to create at some stage. Not all of them, by the way, and not all at once, but a version of them, as we discussed. So creating systems has certainly tightened up my business, hence the reason I could sell it. You know, I'll sell 30% of it this year, all right, because this was all in play. I had the runs on the board with revenue, the staff were there. There's so many things. There were so many things that I did to set this up so I could sell part of it. But also to grow it to this point, you need this stuff in here too. Step 5, create an organizational chart, guys. Like, there's stuff that you don't think about right now, because right now, if you look at that picture, that diagram, if you're a sole trader or even got a couple of staff, you're doing all of that. You know, you are the owner, you are the facility manager, you are the head trainer, you're doing all of it. But at some point, when you bring on more staff, and remember what I said, bring staff into key areas of your business. So you might need a senior trainer or a head trainer, hire that person. You might need someone to manage, like I've got, the studio owner, the facility manager, get that person. The person who looks after the operations now is my business partner. He's the operations manager. You look at the marketing manager, you know, that's the studio manager and the owner. They talk about the marketing. So it's all this. You've just got to get this right in your business to free you up if you want to really push and grow this business. This is pushing it forward and scaling it. Step 6, start building your A team. You know, don't be the smartest or the best person in your business in all categories. You know, you've got to scale up. You've got to employ the best people for the job. You know, you can't be the best at everything. You can be a jack of all trades, but you need that master of one. Hire experts in their field, to my point. You know, hire the best person for that job. Don't hire yes people. You want people who are independent, who actually can stand up and make a point, who can, you know, who aren't argumentative by any means, but who can work independently, you know, and have their own opinion and bring something to the table as well. And if you're talking about locations, your assistant or your manager should be groomed to start the next location if you're going to do another one. So that person, your number 2, so to speak, should be that person who will be groomed to start the next location for you. All right, if you're looking to scale in that space. And you know what I talk about, guys, before I spoke about don't micromanage, but micro monitor. Make sure you're monitoring everything in your business. You don't have to have your fingers in all the pies in every section of your business, but you've got to be able to monitor it all. What I love meeting up with my manager every Friday is that they bring the stuff to me. So I monitor it. I go, right, let's have a look at it all. If they've got any questions around it, or if I do, we talk about it there. But I'm not managing any of it. I'm actually just monitoring it. So I give my studio manager the flexibility to be able to manage and give him the hand him the reins of the business, because I trust him, and you've got to put that trust in those people. And before someone asked about these trainers and how often they're working at the studio, my advice is hire part-time trainers, so you can still take advantage of that contractor-based model because they're working elsewhere, and because they can still earn money elsewhere as well. You're not tying them down, and you're not responsible for all their income, you know, because you can, you know, you can actually have that hanging over your head where you go, oh my God, this person isn't busy, I've got to get them busy. But if they've got work elsewhere, then there's not that burden on you as well. And the other point is, playing devil's advocate, let's just say a trainer does leave you, then if they're only working part-time, they haven't got a big client base, do they, that they've inherited from you that they can just walk away with. So, and you can have the best non-compete clauses in the world in your contract, but look, you know, they're just, unfortunately, you know, only worth the paper they're written on. So, you know, you don't want to really risk that either. Yeah. So, yep, Amber, thank you. Part-time is an excellent point. So, yeah, so I've got, and again, my trainers, I've got 8. Yeah, we're about to hire a new one. So we've got 8 trainers at the moment, and they're all part-time. You know, not one of them relies solely and wholly on the Fitness Revelation income for their sole income. Okay.
Hey, Ben, I have a question. It's Mel here.
Yeah. Hey, Mel.
Hi. Okay, so I guess this might be a little bit off the scale of what we're talking about, but it's about staff.
Mm-hmm.
So my trainer absolutely detests the manager of the gym,
Right.
and he has a fairly good reason. The manager of the gym where we work is, I would say, just a little bit of a predator, a little bit handsy with the younger women.
Oh, right.
And one of the women he's kind of just, you know, just didn't put his hand on their hip, just stuff like that, which is not cool. Anyway, that happens to be his girlfriend, which works on the front desk. And I'm a little bit of a, like, I don't know how to handle the situation because my trainer detests the manager and doesn't actually communicate with the manager at all. The manager has raised it with me and I'm really not sure how to handle the situation very well, because the manager's raised it a couple of times that Dan doesn't really talk to him, or seems to have an issue with me. And I know the reason why. So in your situation, if you had this happening in your gym, how would you go about it?
Well, it's a good question. I think there are a couple of different situations and reactions there. What I might do, just for the sake of the flow of this workshop, I might just have a private call with you at the end, if that's all right.
Yeah, that'd be lovely.
Is that okay? Yeah, cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So guys, step 7, just on the studio success formula, we're duplicating and scaling. So this may not even be on the radar for any of you right now, but I just want to give you an idea of where you're going from right now at step 1, right through to step 7. And what I've done, by the way, I haven't set up another studio, another location, because I actually just was doing really, really well out of this solo location, and it gave me what I needed to be able to go and do what else I want to do from a lifestyle point of view, but also a professional point of view. So but this is the formula from people that I've worked with to scale and to duplicate right at the end of that period. So learn lessons from your first business. Second business will do better and faster. From my experience, working with other people starting up their second location, it usually is a quicker process. You know, you've learned the lessons already. You've already learned the lessons from that first business, and you've already got the systems from that first business. And hopefully, maybe some of the staff might even work in that second business, especially if you have it 15 minutes away or less. Okay. And that, again, is from my experience working with other studio owners, starting other locations. 15 minutes is usually speaking, the boundary or the extension. Okay. Just for staff to be able to go there, for you to be able to work between a couple of locations, etc. And different business, different opportunities. Like I said, I've started other businesses. I've run 3 different businesses, own 3 different businesses, because of the opportunities that have come up. Okay. And I've leveraged and scaled those businesses to now international level. So it's not just the 4 walls of the studio anymore. I wanted to go and work, reach more people effectively. And that's what I've done. So that's the reason I didn't start up multiple locations with my studio. All right. Now, guys, what I do have, just quickly, I've got looking at it now, about 9 more slides, and it's on customer retention. And this is the last part of it. This is where, like I said, we've got 94% customer retention, and I'm going to show you how we do that. And obviously the why, there's no why. We know why we keep our customers. But I'm going to show you how we do that. So if you want to hang around for another 10 minutes, I am going to get through this, obviously, but I did obviously say it's only going to go to 1:30 today, but I'm more than happy. I really want to finish this workshop. So if you do have to head off, just hop off. I've actually got this recorded, so you can pick it up later, but I just wanted to give you the brief on that. Okay. Now, what I am also going to give you as a resource is the daily, weekly, and monthly tasks that we have in our studio. So you'll have that available. Now, they always change over the years, but it just gives you a bit of a structure so you can set yours up as well, just going forward. Okay, so client retention. All right, here we go. So question, who has client retention strategies or a customer care manual process right now in place? You can just say yes on the chat if you like, or no on the chat. And then also, if you track,
we've got some.
Yep. And also, you're right, man. It's also if you track your client retention as well. Because when I first started, just as an insight while you're writing your answers in there, when I first started, I didn't do any of this. It was just, luck of the draw that these people stayed around just because of what I was delivering and my personality type, I guess, and whatever. I don't even know why, but I wasn't doing any incentives. I really wasn't managing my client list very well. I was just lucky. So once I learned how to do it, obviously, more people stayed. So I was at about 80% retention before I implemented these strategies. Okay, cool. All right, great, guys. Thank you for writing those answers. Looks like we've got a couple of people. Yes, we've got some. And I'm going to show you all of the examples. So here we go. All right, 6 client retention strategies we use in our studio. These are the 6. Remember and record and celebrate significant milestones. Number 1. Number 2, and I'm going to go through these in detail, by the way, so don't worry. Number 2 is rewards. Number 3, make one of your members a hero. Number 4, create the community. Number 5, be present. And number 6, provide massive value. I'm going to show you all these little sections one by one now. Okay, number 1, remember, record and celebrate significant milestones. Birthdays. Always do a birthday shout out for your members, even if it's just on the community page or the closed Facebook group that you have. I like doing the personal email from our database. It goes out, it's a template, and they get a free 30-minute massage as a birthday present from the studio. All right. They don't want the massage, they trade in for a personal training session. So we cover all bases there. But recognizing the birthday publicly is important, but then also privately, and they get a little present. Number 1. Number 2, gym anniversaries, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. You might see, if you've ever gone through my website, you'll see the anniversaries that we celebrate with our members. Last year, we had 8 people celebrating 15 years with us. The year before, we had 22 people celebrating 10 years with us. There's just constantly celebrations going on in our studio. I love it. That's the part I really love now, obviously, because I've built that. I've built those relationships, so they're there for that long. But celebrate them. It can be anything. It can be it can be a bunch of flowers, it can be a discounted gym membership, whatever, alcohol, ladies like the champagne, whatever. Send automated or handwritten cards. Okay, really important, make it genuine. So with the handwritten cards, so I'm not the automated, but the handwritten cards are genuine, obviously. Write them or send. The automated email was from the birthday example that I just gave. Some people just like that, it's cool, as long as they've got recognition there. And recognize their achievements publicly. So not just their birthdays, obviously, but what they're achieving outside of the studio as well. So they might be climbing Mount Everest. Recognize that. It's a huge physical achievement, mental achievement. Put in the newsletter, put it on the Facebook, and privately within their peer group as well. So it might be that someone is celebrating a birthday in the group exercise class. Make a big deal of that. Whatever it is. Just keep on remembering things with your clients. Number 2 is rewards. End of year awards night. Some people do that. Some people actually have, awards for all sorts of things in their business for the clients. This is. And by the way, we do staff awards nights, but that's a different thing, different topic altogether. But end of year awards nights for clients. You can develop an automated point system. We used to do this. We used to have a software program that recognized every time someone came into the studio, every time they did a personal training session, every time they did, logged on to an online webinar, so that they would get points for those things. And they would then be awarded gifts, or discounts and things because they've engaged so much with the business. That's another way of doing it. Run some in-house competitions like a 28-day challenge. That can really, be great rewards for people for losing weight, or whatever the challenge might be. Attendance, every 100 sessions they get public acknowledgement, or if they've lost 5 kilos, congratulate them on the community pages as well. So there's just got to be something that's acknowledging or rewarding these people as you go along, and it's got to be consistent. So you can't just do it once for one person, and then forget about all the rest. You've got to do it consistently. So you've got to have a system that tells you, like, obviously you've got a software package that tells you when people's birthdays are on. You get an email that tells you when the person's birthday is. Then you can send out a private text message to them. But also, if you've got in your system, it'll send an automatic birthday message, just as an example. Referral campaigns. If they refer someone into your business, they might get $50, or they might get a free personal training session, or whatever it is. But referral campaigns are huge, and they have been for us over the years too. Okay, Della, good to see you. We'll catch you soon. Okay. VIP members. So every 10 years, people will become, with us, VIP members. So what that means is their prices don't go up. Okay. Or if they don't, sorry, that's not right. They go up to the members price. So we always have a non-members and a members price with our increase in prices. That's a whole nother workshop. But our VIP members only stay on the members only price. So even if they leave, as an example, if they leave, they move house, they go on a 6-month holiday to Europe or whatever, they come back, they're still on their members price. They're not having to rejoin and go through the whole system again. Okay, that's a pretty good system we have So again, to keep up the customer retention so people don't leave. So they know that when they come, if they do leave and come back, they have to start from scratch and they go on the higher prices. That's another conversation. Make one of your members a hero, member of the month. I'm sure most of you do that. I know some of you on this call do that who work with me. Client recognition, member of the month. Okay, put them up on a pedestal. Create a contest for people who apply for a free 6-month membership by telling you how your facility changed their life. It's like a review or a testimonial. Okay, so you might run a competition for the month of, call it August, next month, where everyone who leaves a review on your Google review or Facebook review, they go into the draw to win a 6-month membership. Okay, so it's basically a great advertising angle for you by using your existing client base. It doesn't have to be 6 months, by the way, make it a month. As a result, they'll be walking billboards for your business. So, they're the ones who are going to be your biggest fans. So make sure you use them. Can't stress that part enough. Guys, create the community Facebook page, closed group page, whatever it is that is exclusive for that, your facility or your business. Make them feel special by including them in that. But also create the community broader. So create a community Facebook page so that people who have heard about you want to come in and learn more. Okay, that's really important too. Like I said, we hold charity events, golf days, workshops, beach days, things that, barbecues, things that include our member base. Okay, so they can get involved with their families too. And that really pushes the connection between you and your clients. Every group exercise class, if someone comes in, they get introduced to all the members, the whole group. Okay, and our members are really, really good at this. They know how it all works. They will actually include them, help them around the session. So they're actually, part of the onboarding process for this new client in the group. So you're not constantly managing that new person. And I'm talking about a group setting, obviously. You're not managing them at group setting. They're getting the attention from the other members, which they're more than happy to do and help out. Make things social, family-friendly events, like I said before, hold those events for them. And client Christmas party every year. Every year, from year 1 to year 17 now, 16, so we have 16 of them, there's always a Christmas party. And it's as simple as, because we're in a sporting club, they've got a restaurant attached next door, which you would have seen today, where you can actually grab something to eat. So we can get, finger food, we can get drinks sorted. People just come for a couple of hours and, we shout them drinks and food for 2 hours. So that's a really cool thing to do, and I'm sure some of you already do that. Now, a lot of people don't talk about this part of it, of the customer care process, but I think it's really important. Just being present, remembering people's first names. That's huge. That makes so much of a difference. I personally am big on remembering names, and when someone doesn't remember my name, I don't get miffed, but I go, I'm obviously not that important to that person. They haven't really thought about it, or it's not, on top of their radar. Whereas I feel that, especially a client, you've got to make sure that you know their first name or something about them, something about their life that they're going to remember you by too. So there we go. Know some intimate detail about their life, their pets, their kids' names, whatever it is, and be hands-on and attentive, and be available. Just be around. So even if you're not, running sessions in your business anymore, just be around like the maitre d'. Like I said, that's part of the growth and scale process. So again, guys, communication is key. Just like in any relationship, like be open and honest with these people. Be very transparent with your clients. And be truthful. They're the big takeaways for me owning a business. Don't lie to them, don't cheat them. They're not going to stick around for long, obviously, if you like that. So, just be human. And here you go. The last part of this one is document conversations and messages. So there's a system. So, even if you do have a conversation with someone about something, whether it's on the phone or face-to-face, document that part of it too. Okay, so there is a system, and then there can be a follow-up system to what you did talk about. It might be putting a membership on hold, why that was happening, but just be part of that process and have your staff be part of it too. And the sixth part of the process, guys, the last part of it is provide massive value, which I'm sure you guys already do. But it comes in different areas. So you can offer multiple bundled services, like what I talked about with my studio membership. Getting a higher price per week for multiple services that they may need. High quality, make sure it's high quality and professional every single time, no excuses. As soon as you drop the ball on that, they're walking. Private Facebook group, with recipes, training tips, workout videos, whatever it is that adds value, to that person's fitness journey along the way with you. And it all starts with the welcome pack, how they're greeted into your community, how they're greeted into your business. So make sure you start on the front foot and you give them something tangible at the start of their journey with you. And it doesn't have to be a big, thick welcome pack with all sorts of cool, different things in it. It just has to be a welcome to the community. This is how you get started. Check out this, this, and this, and that's it. Then obviously you've got your onboarding process, which is huge. First 90 days is crucial. Make sure you've got some sort of process with these people that are starting with you. It doesn't have to be, 15 emails that go out. It just has to be that you're there, checking in on them at their training sessions, group exercise sessions, on their gym visits, remembering something crucial about them, what's happening outside of the four walls of the gym in their lives, whatever it is, okay? But the first 90 days, if you can keep them, first 90 days, you'll keep them for life. Trust me on that one. And member newsletters monthly, like keep in communication with your people. Even if you check the stats and they're not being opened as much, people aren't opening the newsletters, they're still acknowledging the fact that they're coming in. We actually had an example of a lady who never opened the newsletter, by the way. We always said to her, never came in, and we stopped doing newsletters for a little while just to see if it really made a difference to people. She was one of the first people who came forward and said, why aren't I receiving that newsletter anymore? You used to do it monthly. And I knew that she wasn't opening. I said, but you never opened it. And she didn't know why I knew that, but anyway, I told her that we track, all that stuff. And she goes, oh, but it was just nice to know that you were doing something for all the members, that it was there in my inbox. So that blew me away. But at the same time, it's all about the consistency of the value you're delivering. If you start something, don't stop it unless you get asked to. So guys, in conclusion of this stuff, I see you, Betty. In conclusion of this stuff, what I want to do is just really reiterate 4 points. Success is defined by you. It's not numbers. It's not what you have. It's not what you've built. It's defined by you. Okay. You've got to be happy with what you've achieved or what you're achieving and what the end point of that is. Okay. And it won't happen overnight, but it will happen if you truly seek it. So if you set those parameters up right at the start, like we talked about at the start of this workshop, it will happen. You just got to keep an eagle eye on that. You've just got to really focus and hone in on that goal at the end, and define your version of success and visualize it every day. That's a big tip. So always go back to why you've started this business, why you're doing it on a daily basis, and what it means to you. What's the end game? Because if there is no end game, then you're just going round and round, and it will get frustrating, trust me. So there's got to be something there for you. And every day do one thing that moves you closer to that big, hairy, audacious goal. So make your business the vehicle for whatever that big thing is at the end. All right, and keep working on that on a daily basis. So guys, I hope you got something out of that workshop today. And what I do want to do now is just hang around and answer any questions you may have. Melanie, I'm going to have a one-on-one with you after everyone's hopped off the call. So definitely hang around. And I'm also going to stop the recording after all the questions have been answered as well. All right, guys. So please feel free to shoot away your questions if you've got any.
Ben, I'm just going to take off, but I just want to ask one question before I go.
Sure, Amber.
At what point did you join up with Trainer HQ?
When I first started as a coach?
Yeah. Well, no. Were you ever their client, or did you just go jumping straight to coaching?
No, I jumped straight into coaching. I was actually a business coach before, before working with Trainer HQ.
Okay. And then, how long have you been coaching with them then?
Since 2014, 7 years.
Wow. Okay. Cool. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for today. I'm really sorry we didn't get to come down there and see everything, but it's really good doing it online. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. And you're always welcome, by the way, to come visit.
Thank you.
Okay, no worries.
See ya.
See ya.
Hey Ben,
Yes.
mate, you know that
Oh my God.
that sheet with the coloured things that you were showing us, and
Yeah, Cody. Yeah.
mate, I pretty much just built one while we were on this,
Oh, good man.
mate. And geez, if I sort of throw some of the numbers around that I'm looking at, like I'd need nearly 18 trainers to get through the amount of sessions. How many trainers have you got at your place doing all that you've got?
I've got eight trainers.
Yep.
Yep. Doing working part-time, of course.
Yeah.
So they're yeah, but it's I guess it's the hours they do and the cost per session. That's the big equation.
And is there certain times in the day where that's your ideal dream if the studio is busy every minute of the day? Because like I actually run PTs across. I've got the potential to run it across 3 gyms.
Fantastic.
I don't currently. I'm only really across 2, but once we get out of lockdown. But with going to the 3rd, and like looking at sort of numbers, just doing it 2 sessions, like it could be 500 and something sessions a week.
Yeah. So are you looking at that on square meterage, or are you looking at that as a
I just was sessions per like time slot. If I was doing 2 sessions in each gym across 3 gyms, 6 sessions as a maximum.
Yep.
And filled it out how you did, and then obviously cut it down quieter during the off-peak periods and stuff.
Yep.
As a bit of a guess. So yeah.
So that's cool, isn't it? Like, I guess what you're saying is there's so much potential.
Yeah, it's freaking ridiculous.
It's awesome. So that's why when I created that, I wanted to share it because I got so excited, and that was my goal about 7 years ago to do that.
Yeah.
And I got bloody close. So most studios operate at 30% capacity. That's it.
Yeah.
So, if you're getting, like, obviously that one was 100%. Those numbers were, and we got, at its best, we got to sort of 70, 75.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, good on you. Like, good on you for doing that little exercise first of all, but then, best of luck for rolling that out.
A BHAG, that's for sure.
Good man. Hey, where are you based, Cody?
Mate, I'm out Silverwater, Olympic Park in Sydney.
Yeah, cool. Well, mate, if you ever want to pop in to my studio and have a look, feel free.
Yeah, whereabouts are you?
We're in Lane Cove.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. No, definitely. I'll I sent you a Facebook thing because I was going to shoot you a message about this after. But yeah, we'll touch base.
All right, mate. I'll check it out. Good on you. Okay, guys, I'm going to wind it up now, but thanks for joining in again, and I'll catch you all soon on the Train HQ program.
Thanks so much, Ben. That was awesome.
No worries.